this is the first camp I can, like, you know, enjoy myself and be back. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
A lot of things out there about the size and all of this stuff, but people forget that Tank's a top 10 pound for pound fighter, and he's got power in both hands. And skill-wise and technique-wise, he's been doing this for so long.
In this fight, I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. You know, he's a real fighter, you know, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, you know, I've personally seen Tank, you know, spar heavyweight.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis is a matchup no one expected. Two stars from different worlds are stepping into the same ring. Both are hungry to prove they are the best fighters, and the hype is real.
It's night and day, right? You have to understand, I went from doing YouTube and Disney Channel to 5 years, you know, once to twice a day, 6 to 7 days a week, training, recovery, taking it more serious than ever. I'm just a different specimen. My body is filled out. I'm going into my athletic prime and going into that and my body filling out, I just feel amazing and feel super strong.
Jake Paul has been loud about the training he is going through for the Gervonta Davis fight. He claims he's bringing serious talent into the camp. He proudly mentions that he has dropped people during sparring. He even says Shakur is joining him this week to help him prepare for the Tank showdown. Jake also admits something rarely seen from him. He says Tank is dangerous. People always judge Tank for being the smaller fighter. They point fingers and say he is too tiny to hang with someone like Jake. Jake disagrees with that noise. He openly says Tank's power is real in both hands. He knows Tank hits like a wild truck, even at that short height. Jake saying he is scared to step inside that ring is a major statement. It shows how much he respects Tank's knockout power and skill. That fear proves this fight is not a joke that people think it is.
Going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you?
For sure, for sure. I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages.
Yeah,
in
90-something%, right?
Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. You know, he's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, you know, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, you know, been doing this their whole entire lives, but we're really focusing on speed, and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
Many fans do not know the truth of Tank's journey. From the start of his career, he has sparred with heavyweights, not regular heavyweights either. These were skilled ones. They knew how to handle themselves in the ring. Showbiz. The adult analysts revealed that Tank not only survived in those sessions, he dominated. He punished those bigger men. If someone like Tank can handle huge fighters in the gym, then a cruiserweight like Jake Paul is not going to shock him. Jake may be bigger, but Tank has already dealt with bigger challenges before. Those sparring stories show Tank is no stranger to a large mountain standing in front of him. The analysts continued by saying those heavyweight sparring partners Tank faced were more technical and experienced than Jake. Jake Paul has improved a lot. He has come from influencer stardom into real boxing. However, he is still learning. He is still developing fundamentals. Tank has been battling high-level talent since his teenage years. If he survived and dominated fighters way heavier and way more skilled than Jake, then Jake's size advantage may not be enough. The powerful storyteller Showbiz made one thing clear. Tank facing Jake is not a mismatch for Tank. It may even be Jake stepping into dangerous territory.
Or bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring. But in the past, You know, like maybe a few years ago, he was fighting a guy in Mayweather's camp. He was a bigger guy. I think he was like a middleweight or something like that. He was whooping his ass. One time he was like on live whooping a bigger guy's ass. I mean, he's just beating bigger guys like middleweights and stuff. He's done that in sparring forever. Remember this story? I've brought it up a million times and I've showed this clip a million times, but on Ellie Set Back. This story of this guy saying how Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out this heavyweight.
Tell me the story. What happened?
Tank, what's the one boy name?
No, don't say a name. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he died.
Hey, I've seen him knock out some heavyweights. He might knock Wild ass out now.
You knocked out a heavyweight?
Yeah.
How was that?
Cause I hit harder than Wilder.
Now, granted, the heavyweights that Gervonta Tank Davis is whooping and sparring is not like, you know, all-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the heavyweight, the level of heavyweight that, you know, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right? I'm thinking that is the caliber of heavyweight that Gervonta Tank Davis is sparring, but he's whooping their asses. And that's a good thing. I feel with Jake Paul sparring Raymond Ford, to me, it looked like Raymond Ford got the best of him. It looked like Jake Paul was a little exhausted, and it looked like Raymond Ford wasn't. It looked like Jake Paul was a little disappointed in his performance, and Raymond Ford was trying to give him a pick-me-up. Like, you know, just kind of letting him know. No, like, you know, we do this and do that. It just looked like Raymond Ford was in a confident, secure place, more dominant place, the more alpha out the two in the ring, and that's Raymond Ford. That ain't Gervonta Davis. You know, I love Raymond Ford. I have him on my fighters list. But still, I don't think anyone thinks he's as skillful or as powerful as Gervonta Tank Davis.
Tank has decided on his future. He is not returning to 135 pounds. Too many cuts, too much drain. He wants to stay fresh. He wants to stay in a division where his strength is at 100%. The move to 140 pounds shows growth in his mindset. He is preparing for bigger names and bigger challenges. That includes the Jake Paul fight. Once the showdown ends, Tank plans to continue as a full super lightweight. He thinks he will deliver stronger performances there. He wants to dominate this weight class after proving himself once again on a huge stage. By staying in this weight class, Tank is giving himself a wider world of possibilities. Fans might say the new weight puts him at a disadvantage against Jake because Jake is naturally heavier. Tank sees the opposite. He thinks this is where his body is happiest. His stamina becomes better. His knockout pop becomes even more devastating. When he fought at 135, he would still deliver spectacular knockouts. Now he wants show-stopping power. The new division might make Tank even scarier than he already is. Jake Paul might feel the very first example of this new and improved Tank.
Or had been throwing fits a few weeks ago when Gervonta had announced that he would be fighting Jake Paul in, I believe it's coming up in just about a month, or a little bit less than a month, and that he would not be, at least immediately, he would not be rematching Lamont Roach. So people went all up in arms. Shout out to my guy, Big Dog Willie, who even right now is claiming that Gervonta Davis is going to go try to fight in WWE or something like that when he gets done with Jake Paul. But the truth of the matter is that Gervonta Davis is coming back to boxing. He's always said that he's coming back to boxing. He said he's going to run off, get this bag real quick, and he'll be right back. Well, as you see, the 135-pound WBA, the WBA, where he holds his 135-pound championship, has not stripped him. They said that they were going to look into it if he had not rematched Lamont Roach, but nothing ever really came of that. So as of right now, he still has his 135-pound title. But I'm telling you, the way that things are panning out, I don't think he's going to go back down to the 135-pound division. I think he's going to go to the 140-pound division where really and truly all the smoke is there. Add to it the fact that when he fights Jake Paul, he's going to be fighting Jake Paul at a higher weight than he would necessarily be fighting guys at 135 pounds. You're probably not going to see him drain down for the fight. I don't think he's going to bulk up at all. But usually when guys play with their weight and they go up and allow themselves to fight at a higher weight or fight people at a higher weight classes.
Kermel Moton gave his take. He says Tank has the edge easily. Kermel explains that Tank sparring heavyweights means weight is not going to bother him at all. Jake being bigger does not change Tank being smarter. The difference lies in skill level. Kermel sees Tank as a master boxer compared to Jake still in the learning process. He predicts Tank to win, not just win convincingly. Kermel knows Tank personally. He sees Tank work daily behind closed doors. That inside view gives his prediction strong value. Talent beats size. Skills beat strength. Those are Kermel's words through action.
Tank versus Jake Paul.
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it. But I don't know, they both getting a lot of money, so congrats to them.
What if you had it who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweights, and even me, I spar heavyweights, So the weight's not really too much, for a lot of great fighters, so I feel like Tank gonna get it for sure.
Do you think he kind of be an advantage because he's small and fast? Someone said that. I'm I didn't think about that actually.
Yeah, possibly. He gonna see a lot of Jake Paul's punches coming. He can be able to evade them and then set him up for a big counter.
Wait, but do you think this is gonna be different than the other Jake Paul fights we've seen, against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez? I know a lot of people weren't the happiest with that, but I feel like Tank's gonna give him a different fight. Do you think so?
I think so. We'll see how he adapts because a lot of people think it's hard, for a small guy to be fighting a bigger guy, but it's also hard for a big guy to be fighting a smaller guy. It's a small target, they're very fast, so we'll have to see how he adapts to it.
Wait, and is Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson really happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a date already, or what's going on?
I don't think there's a date yet, but it's definitely an official fight and it's happening.
So what do you got to say about that? What's going on?
It's gonna be a great show. Floyd's gonna do his thing. Hopefully I'm on the undercard so I can put on a great show as well.
No, really? You guys already talked about that?
Not yet, no, but we'll have to see. Yeah, for sure.
And are you gonna fight again this year? What's next with you, Kermel?
I don't know. At the moment, we haven't heard nothing. We're just waiting. Staying patient. Staying ready. But I should be back at least one more time before the end of the year.
When the fight was first announced, Shakur Stevenson was among the loudest critics. He publicly questioned why a top-level champion like Gervonta Davis would choose to face a YouTuber-turned-boxer rather than another elite professional. To Shakur, this matchup felt like an insult to the sport he has dedicated his life to. But now, the story has taken a surprising twist. Reports claim that Jake Paul financially motivated Shakur to join his training camp, helping him prepare specifically for Davis's style. This sudden involvement has left many fans raising their eyebrows. Analysts argue that if Shakur truly believed the fight disrespected boxing, he would have stayed far away from it. Instead, the moment an attractive offer arrived, he decided to take part. The same fight he mocked as a circus is now the one he's indirectly contributing to. Observers see this as a clear example of how the boxing business can change opinions quickly when money enters the conversation.
A lot of money to help him in camp. Some easy money to come spar somebody or whatever, go get your money, right? But what's funny to me is for someone who had nothing positive to say about this fight, and someone who was critical of Tank Davis for taking this fight, and tried to shit on Tank Davis for taking this fight, he sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of it. He sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of the fight. And then to take that a step deeper and a step further, for someone who doesn't want to talk about Tank Davis anymore, he sure is making moves to ensure that he is continued to be mentioned with Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson is not stupid. The new firm that he hired to do his PR work and get him to do these interviews and try to enhance his brand, they not stupid. Jay Prince not stupid. Josh Dubin not stupid. The people around Shakur Stevenson have been building social media brands, building boxers, and building talent in different industries at the same time. I mean, for a long time. They know how this shit works. They not dumb. They know the conversation that is going to surround Shakur helping Jake Paul. Tank Davis' biggest rival going to camp to help Jake Paul. If Jake Paul has any kind of success in the fight, Jake Paul was successful because Shakur Stevenson is on a different level and he helped prepare Jake Paul for the fight with Tank. That's why Jake Paul did so good. They know this, bro. And to me, that's the problem that I always have with these guys like Shakur Stevenson. You can throw Lamont Roach in there. You can throw Devin Haney in there, bro. You can throw Keyshawn Davis in there if you want to. My issue is they won't admit what it is. And and I guess it's an ego thing, it's a pride thing, because I get it, bro.
Offset shares a different perspective, focusing mainly on the physical matchup. He believes that Jake Paul's size and natural strength could give him a real shot at winning. The weight difference is obvious, and he thinks that if Paul lands the right punch, it could be game-changing. However, Offset also recognizes Gervonta Davis's exceptional skill. He points out that Davis is the kind of fighter who can slip punches, counter instantly, and make opponents miss all night long. So while Offset leans toward Jake due to size alone, he admits there is a strong chance Jake may not even be able to hit Tank cleanly. In his view, this fight becomes a fascinating clash between size and technique, a large, powerful challenger against a slick, highly trained champion.
You saw Jake Paul and Tank Davis?
I don't understand how that's happening, though.
I mean, that's kind of what Jake Paul does, right?
That nigga's 7'8", 6'7". I'm not saying 7'8". Like, the nigga's 6'4".
So you think Jake wins?
Yes.
This is kind of like the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. And Mayweather, he got the better of Logan for sure. I think Logan's even bigger.
Than Jake? Fuck no.
Logan's bigger than Jake, yeah. Bigger, yeah. But Jake's now a more experienced boxer than probably Logan was at that time.
I don't know. That weight shit, man, that shit is a real thing.
What's the odds on that shit? I wonder. Not out yet?
Who do you think will win out of Canelo?
I don't really follow boxing like
Canelo,
that.
Man. I like
Canelo?
I like my boy, but Canelo's just
Canelo's a beast.
He not old. He still got it. He hit hard as a motherfucker. And then like the fighters he fought and lost to was some dogs though. Like most people won't get in the ring with him. So it's like I feel like I don't know. Has he got this? I don't know. I feel like he gonna land though. What's that? What's the odds on that?
Oh, listen to this. Davis is minus 205 to beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul's plus 155.
Wow, that's tight odds. Tank Davis is minus 205. Jake Paul's 155 opening odds. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know.
Tank 5'2" though, but it's like he's so short.
Fast.
Yeah, I'm saying the height difference is
like
crazy.
Is Jake even gonna be able to hit him? Like he's probably so fast. Tank's gonna be able to hit Jake.
He's short though.
Tank's gonna hit him a lot. Right?
How tall is Tank? 5'7". He's like 6'3". So different. That's
no, I know.
6'3" and big. Now technique, he got him in technique because he's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to see that fight. That shit sound crazy.
You gamble on football? You sports bet?
You have to pay him a lot of money to that fight.
Oh, they're making so much money.
Some analysts have noticed that many fighters who criticize Davis aren't doing it out of concern for boxing. It's rooted in envy. They argue that Davis has been targeted with jealousy since the beginning of his career. Now that he's positioned to make an enormous amount of money in a single night, the bitterness has intensified. The analysts believe these critics would gladly take the same opportunity if it were offered to them. Instead of congratulating Davis for securing a massive payday, they continue to attack his decisions. According to these experts, most of the negativity surrounding Tank comes from those who wish they were in his position.
Fire! I get the chance to pick a great business mind brain and help give him some game in the process. I'm down. Oh, we know you're down. So for one, you look like you hating on Tank, bro. Like you specifically. Two, this is the same guy that said he's not watching the fight, but now you're somewhat taking part in the fight because you're trying to gather or help prepare Jake Paul for the fight. And then this is what Shakur Stevenson does, in my opinion. Shakur will make questionable choices, do certain things, right? And then afterwards, he'll be like, yeah, now that I got y'all attention, I got everybody mad at me. Bro, the stuff you're doing is weird. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost close to like Karen behavior, in the sense that Karens, you see some of these Karens and they do all this extra stuff and then act like the victim. And I told you that's one of the main problems with Gen Z, right? Where Gen Z, they will do just weird things, make weird choices, make weird decisions, and then they'll act like, man, I'm Tupac, me against the world, everybody's against me. Everybody's not against you. You're just doing weird things. You're making weird decisions, it's weird behavior, so on and so forth. So let's ultimately recap. We got to do the Boxing Ego recap to see what's really going on here.
There is also debate regarding the rumored earnings for this fight. Numbers like $20 or $40 million feel believable to most analysts. But when some outlets suggest both fighters could earn nearly $200 million each, skepticism rises. Many in the sport feel those figures are exaggerated, almost too spectacular to be true. While the fight is huge and the attention is undeniable, making such an enormous amount in one night still feels unrealistic to several experts. For now, the money remains a mystery. Impressive, but uncertain.
It says 150 to 200 mil.
That'd be the most any athletes ever made in one event, in one night. Where are they getting that money?
I mean, it's Netflix.
Okay. Mike Tyson didn't make that. Jake Paul didn't make that.
No. 20 million, I would believe, not 200 million.
20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, but there's no pay-per-view model. So, and Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40 I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40 I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, like 20.
Like Canelo's getting that 40.
Yeah.
But Gervonta Davis, he was, especially on Showtime, he's a big pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist. 200 mil is just completely false.
Man, I mean,
you swipe. What it says? Swipe to read more. What else does it say?
No, there's nothing there. That's probably from the original.
God, Jake is so much bigger.
Yeah, man.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.